Hey everyone, happy Friday. Hope you guys are doing great. If I sound weird, I've been trying to get over a sinus infection and it's been dogging me all week. So just want to give you guys a quick little training video. It's about something that's very important. So please take notes and get ready because I think this could really change our paradigms for how we view work in a church. I think when it comes to working in a church, whether you're a paid staff or a volunteer, I think most of the people that really fill that role usually use the word to associate with that, serving or servant. And that's totally amazing. That's totally great. But I want to introduce another concept today called stewarding. And I really want to compare these two things, being a servant versus being a steward. Let me start with being a servant. Being a servant is totally biblical. Philippians 2, your attitude should be the same as that of Christ Jesus, who being in very nature God did not consider equality with God something to be grasped, but made himself nothing and taken the very nature of a servant. So there it is. Being a servant, it is not only good, it is really required and commanded. You see it all throughout the Bible. You see right there, we should have the same attitude as Christ Jesus. And a servant throughout the Bible is a person who will do whatever those above them ask them to do with a great attitude. So, and they'll do it even if it doesn't give them a lot of accolades. That's the idea of being a servant. You're not there to get approval. You're not there to get praise. You're really there to do whatever is asked of you, to do it well, to do it with a great attitude. That is totally biblical and that's totally great. However, there is a danger. And the danger that I see in so many churches, both with paid staff and volunteers, is that it just stops there. Of that people are just servants. People just do what is asked of them. That's not what I want. That's not what I want for myself. That's not what I want for my superiors. That's not what I want from you. Instead, I really think we need to bring another biblical idea, and that's the idea of stewardship into play. A steward is a person who is given a realm of responsibility, a sphere of influence, and a person says to them, here is what it takes to do this. I've given it to you. Now go do it. They don't sit there and give them a checklist of everything they have to do. They just simply say, here's your sphere of influence, here's your authority, here are the resources, now go do it. So for example, in the very beginning, God, in the book of Genesis, looks at Adam and Eve and says, be fruitful, multiply, subdue the land, have dominion over it. God didn't give them a bunch of list of things to do every single day, either to accomplish those two things or just in general. Instead, he gave them two general roles. Go, be fruitful, multiply, subdue the earth, and have dominion over it. And then it was up to them to exercise their sphere of influence well and to really handle their realm of responsibility well and to do whatever it takes to get the job done. And so you also see this idea, for example, in the parable of the talents, where the master gives his servants different sets of money, but then he says, go, take this, multiply, and then he goes away. He doesn't stand there and tell them everything they have to do with it. He, at that moment, says, here's a responsibility, the talents. Go do whatever you can with it to multiply it. So really in that moment, I think the servants were going from being a servant to going to being a steward. And that's really what I want us to do. While yes, I want us to always have the attitude of a servant, the attitude that says, I'll do whatever is asked of me, I will do whatever I have to do to get the job done that's been asked of me to do. I always want to set that attitude. I want to set the actions of a steward who says, not only will I do whatever you ask of me, but you will recognize that God has given you a sphere of influence, a realm of responsibility, and you're going to try your hardest and do your best to take care of that area very well and to engage in it and to do whatever you have to do to really run that area well. So here's what this would look like in the student ministry. In a student ministry of nothing but servants, everyone shows up and they simply ask, Paul, what do you want us to do? And I'll do it. In many ways, that's great. And you guys do that amazingly and you do it awesome. Like seriously, I love you guys for it. You really have the servant attitude, the servant heart, and that's great. However, a steward comes and they already know what their own responsibility is, and they simply do whatever they have to do, whether I've asked them to do something, but also things that I haven't asked them to do, and they get the job done and they do it great. So for example, as a small group leader, you're not simply saying, hey, Paul asked us to do Shine, so we're going to do Shine, or at least to ask our students about Shine. It wasn't, hey, Paul asked us to be here Sunday night to teach a Bible study. Let's just go and teach the Bible study. It's, man, Paul and really God has given us a group of students to pour into, to disciple, to develop relationships with. And yes, we should do the things that he's asked us to do, to lead that small group on Sunday nights, to go over the questions, over the material. You're not out there leading a rogue Bible study in the book of Revelation or anything like that. But it's more of you're saying, man, these students are my sphere of influence. They're my realm of responsibility. How can I do my best, go above and beyond for them? So, for example, a steward doesn't have to come back into me and ask me, hey, would it be cool if I went to lunch with some of my students this week? If you came up to me and asked that, I'd say, sure, go for it. You don't have to ask permission. Go do it. A steward doesn't come up and say, hey, you know what if I took my group out to dinner on Friday? I'm not going to say no. I'm just going to say, man, go do it. And so I hope you see what I'm saying. I think we need to have both. I'm not saying we only need to be stewards. We need to be servants, and that myself, you guys, we all have the attitude of saying we'll do whatever is asked of us to do. However, we also need to be like stewards in that we have realms of responsibility, a sphere of influence, and we will take care of that realm and that sphere very well and go above and beyond. Another way I could say this is that I don't just want us to come in and fill roles. I want us to own positions. A role is a person that's filling a role just simply comes in almost like an assembly line. I put you in, you go. Instead, I want you to come in and own a position. Go above and beyond. You come up with ideas. You do things. You go off on your own and do the best you possibly can do. I really believe, and I think I already see it in so many of us, but I think if we just continue to step this up, I really believe this could take our ministry to a whole nother place where we are all just engaging, where we're owning our areas and we're going after it. We're not just doing what we're asked, we're really just simply handling our areas of responsibility with excellence and with care and with love and devotion. If we do this, I think it'll be a game changer for us. Love you guys. Looking forward to an awesome weekend of Q&As. Let's keep going out there and asking our students to invite people, telling them to send in some questions. I've gotten some really honest ones that I cannot wait to share and to answer on Sunday. So love you guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye.